Hey everyone, welcome to the Conversations with Entrepreneurs series. My name is Joshua Fillmore. I'll be hosting the series on behalf of the USB Ed's Young Minds program. I'll be joined by a diverse range of some of the finest young entrepreneurs South Africa has to offer. We'll learn a bit about their journey, their thoughts on entrepreneurship and the role it plays in shaping the future of our country, and get a few first-hand tips for young entrepreneurs looking to start their own companies. Let's jump right in. For everybody that's tuned in, our next guest is a truly inspiring woman, Mthembu. Sne is the founder and director of Passcara Partners, and quite possibly one of the youngest women to ever start her own law firm in South Africa. I think we need a fact check on that because I'm pretty confident she would be. She's also a YouTube queen with over 40,000 subscribers tuning into her lifestyle and beauty vlogs. Passcara Partners was founded in 2020, is based in KZN, and offers clients a range of legal services. It's awesome to have you with us, Sne. I definitely believe that you are an individual who's both shaping the future of our country and inspiring others to do the same. And I look forward to learning a bit more about your journey and your thoughts on entrepreneurship.
Thank you so much, guys, for having me. It's amazing.
Can you please just give us a bit of an overview of what Passcara Partners does and share a bit about your YouTube channel?
So basically, we are a law firm, as you said, based in Durban, KZN. And we mainly focus on civil matters on the basis that when I was still employed, I did a lot of criminal work and it just wasn't gelling well with me. So when I started my own practice, I decided that I'm not going to go the criminal route. So we focus a lot on your civil matters. This is your divorces, your drafting of contracts, your deceased estates, all that kind of good stuff. And then on the side, I am a content creator. I don't like to call myself an influencer. I just call myself a digital content creator, where I just share lifestyle content, like you said. And then I just like communicating with my followers and my subscribers just to get a feel of what they would expect from me and engage with them, basically.
You obviously practice as a lawyer, and you've released over 70 YouTube vlogs. I saw that one of them hit over 140,000 views, which is incredible. How do you go about managing all of this? Do you have any favorite hacks for managing your time and being able to do so many different things at once?
My profession pays my bills, to be quite honest, and naturally I'll gravitate towards more focusing most of my energy on it. But I also love vlogging. I love content creating. It's literally something that I could wake up any day and do without a doubt. But I know which pays most of my bills, so I need to focus most of my energy on it. But what helps me the most is just I jot everything down. I literally every night before I go to bed, I need to know what I'm doing in the legal side as well as my content creating, because I do work with brands now, and brands have deadlines. They want you to produce certain content at a certain time. And then I've got my clients in the legal department that I also need to, get on the files, do what I need to do. I need to go to court, etc., etc. So I need to be prepared the night before as to what I'm going to be doing legally, and then what I'm going to be doing social media wise.
Yeah, it sounds like one hell of a task, trying to prioritize which is more important when and trying to balance it all. One thing I noticed is that you've always had a few different side hustles. One of them was an events decor company, which you started, the other makeup company. And you mentioned that these kind of sustained you in the period leading up to starting Passcara Partners. And I believe to some extent you still obviously reap some rewards from them. How important were these side hustles in your journey? And do you think there are any lessons you learned from them which you took with you when starting Passcara Partners?
I started the makeup when I was, I think, straight from fresh out of varsity. And To be honest, I was just fumbling throughout the whole thing. I didn't know what I was doing. I started the events company. I also was fumbling through that. And eventually, you know, when you start young, I think it helps to start young because you generally make a lot of mistakes and then you're going to learn from those mistakes. And I then told myself, especially when I was employed as a candidate attorney before I was admitted, the type of environment that I was in pushed me and encouraged me to be where I am right now. So together with my side hustles that I already had and the environment that I was in, I then managed to bring out the product that I have now. But one thing that I learned was patience. You need a lot of patience in business. It's not going to happen tomorrow. It's not going to happen next week. Whatever you want is not going to happen immediately, which is something that I struggled with a lot, as well as the research. I think most of us want to make the money and we see that, oh, Usne is doing this, let me also do that, without doing the proper research and finding out what it is you can and cannot do. And then the discipline. I think my events company is the one company that taught me a lot of discipline, and working with a lot of people teaches you discipline and it forces you to be disciplined and to be patient. So in a way and indirectly, the mistakes that I did make, you know, landed me where I am. I'm still making mistakes. It's just that I've learned I'm not making the same mistakes that I used to make, basically.
Focusing on Passcara and Partners, how did you go about finding your first few clients and how did you convince them to trust you?
To be quite honest, I didn't struggle with finding clients. I have a lot of people who come to me and say, Sneh, how did you do it? I also want to do it like this. I also want, you know, to get all the publicity. And I always say, I don't want to call it fate or luck, but I was just at the right place, I guess, at that specific right time. And the social media and the TV and the interviews helped me a lot. But my story touched so many people that a lot of people wanted to hear about it, and then indirectly that got me clients.
Are there any recommendations you'd make to people who, in order to get to this point of validation as quickly as possible, how do they test their ideas and get to a point where they know that they're onto something?
I always say just go for it, man. And if you don't take the risk, you're never gonna know. You're basically never gonna know if it was gonna, and you have nothing to lose if you do take the risk. And it's about time that you take your plans that you have in your mind and you put them into realization, because if you don't, either somebody's already got that idea and they're gonna use it before you do, and then you're gonna feel like you shot yourself in the foot. So you might as well just start. Just the problem is, or something to consider is to do the research. I don't know why I always speak about research. For some reason, you can have all the money, you can have you can literally have all the funds to start a business, but if you haven't done the research, it's not going to work out.
Do you believe that you can use similar techniques to what you have used in creating your online community when creating a community of clients for a business? And may not necessarily have to be with Passcara and Partners, could be other businesses as well. Do you think similar techniques can be used to begin building client communities?
Definitely. Like I mentioned before, I've created a community with my followers, especially on Instagram. I engage very well with them and they kind of like trust me. They trust my judgment on certain things. So they say I'm working out a product. I'm like, oh, I really love this product. Even if it's not a paid post, they will trust my judgment on that. And in return, I can capitalize on that, because at the end of the day, I think everybody's out here to make the money, you know, that type of thing. If you can use your community and then indirectly capitalize that or use that similar technique in a business, it's definitely going to help you.
What are a few common mistakes which you've noticed young entrepreneurs wanting to start their own thing often fall victim to?
I think we want to start big. And there's nothing wrong with starting small, and there's nothing wrong with dreaming big. I'm not saying you shouldn't dream big, but we want to start big from the get-go. And I feel like we set unrealistic goals for ourselves, which in return we disappoint ourselves. So I feel like let's start small. There's nothing wrong with starting small. For instance, when I started Passcara Partners, I started during COVID, and I already had this office, this fancy office, I'm renting out the space. COVID happened. I'm not going to the office anymore. I'm not utilizing the space, but I'm still paying the rent for this office. And it got to a point where I realized that, even if I'd rented out, I'd leased out like a one-room office, it was still going to be fine. I could have started small and I couldn't have wasted so much money on office space. But for the first few months of being in business, I would take Passcara's money and swipe the card when I'm shopping and swipe the card to do my groceries, and just forgetting that, I'm not going to be able to see the growth of my business and whether I'm making any profit if I don't pay myself a salary and then leave the business money and then see the business grow, basically. So I think a lot of us make that common mistake. We feel like, but at the end of the day, it's my business. I worked for this, so I'm entitled to this money. But that's not the case. You need to set that discipline for yourself, and then you will see the growth of your business. I learned very hard from that mistake. Luckily, I had business people around me who are in business telling me that, no, this is not how it works.
What role you believe female entrepreneurship plays in South Africa, and how you believe the system, be that government, educational institutions, corporate environment, can better support female entrepreneurs?
Most female entrepreneurs have given a lot of insight on how possible it is. So many people, I think even now, even currently, there isn't a lot of us trying to do it, but it's better than what it was years ago, especially in the profession that I'm in. It's still a struggle. We still looked down upon slightly. It's very rare to find a female-owned firm. But now people like us are showing the people that follow that, you know what, guys, if Usne can do it, then I definitely can do it. And it just gives insight. And the fact that we engage with these people and we tell them how hard it is, but how it's worth it at the end, it just gives them that push and that drive to say, okay, I also want to do that. Not only people that follow. I remember sitting in an ENCA interview, and the interviewer telling me that, I'm in my 40s and I'm being inspired by someone who's 25. So it does not necessarily mean that you're inspiring and pushing young people, but there's certain people, especially older people, who felt at that particular time that they cannot do it. They now see younger people doing it and they say, oh, okay, I've always had this dream that I've packed at the back of my house. Let me actually dust this off and put it into realization.
Thanks a lot for sharing some insights. It's incredibly inspiring to connect with you, and we look forward to spreading a bit more of your story and sharing this with a lot of other young entrepreneurs in the country.
Thanks for watching this episode of Conversations with Entrepreneurs. For more info on the featured entrepreneur and their business, check out the links attached below. The series is proudly brought to you by USB Ed's Young Minds program, which assists students in defining their life goals and creating their own career opportunities. I'd highly recommend checking out the program and visiting USB Ed's website for other world-class business learning opportunities. Until next time, cheers.